So if you want to lose body fat, or even honestly, if you want to build muscle, the number one thing, the bottom of the nutrition hierarchy for you is the number of calories that you consume. Now, you've probably heard this before. It's probably nothing groundbreaking. I'm not surprised at that. But what a lot of people do wrong is they forget that this is the bottom, this is the first layer of an entire hierarchy. There are 5 items in our nutrition hierarchy that we coach to our clients that helps them have tremendous success. So what a lot of people do, they start out counting calories because they know, hey, if I control my calories, I control my energy expenditure, then therefore I will either gain or lose weight. That's the law of thermodynamics. Pretty easy. I think I can do that. But people make 4 huge mistakes. It's why they stay on this hamster wheel of weight loss, weight regain, getting burnt out, getting off the train, gaining your weight back, then getting sick of it, and then wanting to do it again, and dreadfully starting counting your calories, and you get some progress, and you get excited, then it gets exhausting again, and then you just go round and round and round and round and round until forever, and you never really solve this problem. And what we want to do is solve the real problems that keep you on the hamster wheel and get you off and let you get your head above water and let you breathe so that you can have freedom in fitness. So I have here 4 calorie counting mistakes that almost everybody makes, that if you fix these things, you will have 10 times more success from the same amount of effort. So that's what I'm promising you here today if you do these things consistently. So I have 4. The first one is that people focus on their day-to-day calories and not their weekly calories. So what I do when I measure my clients' nutrition and their progress and the objective markers, I look at their weekly averages, both in how often they exercise, how often, or their calories, their macros, everything. Because what I don't care is if you are super low throughout the week, you're under your calories, under your calories, under your calories. And then you go out on Saturday, and you're like, I only had one bad meal. So 1 out of 21, you eat 3 times a day for 7 days a week. Let's say that's 21 meals. And one of those meals is off your diet plan. It's a cheat meal. It's a bad meal. I don't like any of those terms. That's why I use air quotes. But you say I only did 1, so 1 out of 21. Hey, that's 20 out of 21. That's really good. That's great, right? But that meal was 4,000 calories. And if you don't believe me, go add up what you typically have at Texas Roadhouse or what you may have had in the past if you go buck wild, and it will surprise you how easy it is to get 4,000 calories in. That's why you feel like, you feel kind of crappy for about a day after consuming that. So when we average in a 4,000 calorie meal, and that turns it into a 6,000 calorie day, into a week full, 6 days of doing good. And again, we don't like these terms good and bad because there's no morality to nutrition, folks. What we see is a massive change in the weekly average. So the weekly average went from on par where you need to be to over the line making no progress with one meal. Now that's an extreme meal. That's an extreme example. Let's go the other way. Because here there's an equal and even larger problem, I think, larger in number of people who experience it, with people who go out to eat and feel so guilty about the meal, even though they did a good job and they had portion control and they used maybe our eating out guide, and they did exactly what I would have them to do, or maybe I would even do personally in that situation. I would enjoy time with my family, with my spouse. I would go on a date night, things that must occur for you to be a healthy, functioning human being that I would never take away from one of my clients. And they eat maybe 300 calories over for the day. And then we divide that by 7 across all the other days where they're right on the mark, and guess how much that changes? Like this much, like 70 calories weekly, and they're still crushing it. As far as that line, I would never have known if they went out to eat or had a bad meal or any of that. But what happens is when you focus on your daily calories or in one meal, we get in our head, and then now what happens is not just that one meal anymore, it's now, what do you eat the rest of the day Saturday? What do you do Sunday? How motivated are you on Monday morning? How's your mood? How's your momentum feel? It feels like crap. Everything's bad and it's just a struggle and a fight every single week. That is not an environment where you're going to have success. So both, understand that, hey, if I control on the weekends and basically do damage control, I can have my cake and I can eat it too, and I will not allow that to impact my decision making and how I feel about myself the rest of the week, because it is necessary when we eat for a lot of different reasons. We'll talk about that at a different time. But daily versus weekly calories, we look at weekly average, which means you also need to know what is going on the weekends, because if you give me 6 days out of the week, I can't tell you a whole lot. So next thing is eating for calories and not for nutrients. So here's the thing, you can eat two diets that are both 2,000 calories a day, one can make you very sick and lethargic and feel like crap, and the other can make you feel like a superhuman, and you're strong and you have a great immune system and you're building muscle and you're recovering great and you're never sick and you're never tired and you sleep great. That's different nutrients, okay? That's where it comes to your macronutrients and your food sources, which those are the second and third layers of the nutrition hierarchy we work with our clients. So if you're only eating for calories and not eating to fuel your body, listen, you can eat the same amount of calories and make different food choices. Don't believe me? Drink a protein shake that has 40 grams of protein and then eat a sirloin that has 40 grams of protein. Tell me how much better you feel after a week of eating sirloin versus a week of protein shakes, because guess what steak has in it? All the nutrients we need to thrive as human beings, not just what we need to survive. Things that you need to thrive will be found in things like animal products. The more red meat, whole eggs, berries that we eat, the more nutrients we have to function as humans versus processed sources, imitations of those nutrients, which are great. And you can get to your goals there, you can have consistency there. That's fantastic, but we need to be eating for our nutrition, not just for how many calories that we are consuming. So next up, so that you are now no longer feeling sick and exhausted and eating in a way that doesn't fuel your body, is going to be eating non-hunger stopping meals. So here's the thing. Here's how you're going to have, this is a huge one, have very little success in fitness. Eat the right amount of calories but be hungry all the time and try and win that battle 3 times a day, 4 times a day, consistently for the 6 months that it is going to take you, not the 30 days that all the fit tea salesmen promise you on Instagram and Facebook that you know isn't true. This, for 6 months, you have to win a battle 3 or 4 times a day. That's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times you have to win the hunger battle. You're going to lose that equation. You're going to come out under 500. You're going to have a losing season, and you're not going to have any consistency. And the progress that you do make is going to be minimal. And you're going to get discouraged far before you even see it, and you're going to quit. That's because hunger, sleep, and stress are 3 things that we teach our clients to mitigate and show them how to do that. So one of the ways we're going to do is eating hunger-stopping meals of protein, fiber, fat. I said fat because you need to eat fat to survive as a human being with human biology. Unless you're an alien, if you're an alien from a different planet, kudos, welcome. Maybe your biology is different. But if you're a human, you need fat in your diet. So protein, fat, fiber, and preferably some greens and vegetables in there. Guess what? That same 400 calorie meal from a protein bar and a protein shake or whatever versus a hunger stopping meal with those nutrients in it from Whole Foods, you go from being hungry an hour later to not hungry for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. I promise you. And that puts you in a situation where you're not fighting as many battles and you are more prepared to win those battles and you have far greater success. Now the last one, the last calorie counting mistake that people make is they eat the right calories but the wrong macronutrient profile. Now, like I mentioned, this is the second of the nutrition hierarchy that we teach our coaching clients. So the macros are calorie-containing nutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrate. So if you eat a diet that is 2,000 calories and you have to get those calories from a macronutrient of protein, fat, or carbohydrate. So if you get all your calories from fat and carbohydrate, very little from protein, your physiology is going to look different and you're going to get different results because are we getting 4 calories per gram from amino acids? And those amino acids can now be utilized to build muscle tissue and build other things, which improves our metabolism and our overall health. Or are they from chains of sugars, which is carbohydrate and water molecule? And thus we're getting energy that way, which can only be used for energy, not to build tissue, right? So you're gonna have 2 very different people. So understanding macronutrients and learning about that is very, very valuable. There's a dark side of the fitness industry called If It Fits Your Macros, which means just what I talked about earlier. Eat Pop-Tarts and protein shakes. It's the same macros and calories as steak and berries, but one's very health-giving and one is only focused on the mirror, and that's going to mess you up between the ears even more. Anyway, so we just don't even mess with that because not only is it not healthy, it's not healthy psychologically either. So those are 4 of the biggest calorie counting mistakes I just gave to you for free. Most people pay thousands of dollars for that sort of coaching, and you get it for free. So if you want some more of that, if you're like, hey man, that just blew my mind, that's really helpful, and I know it, and not only do I want to learn more about it perhaps, but I need somebody to help me put it into practice, All of our coaches are trained on that stuff, and you're going to get probably myself doing your nutrition coaching for you. So if you found that helpful, check us out, get a hold of us, and inquire about personal training. We can book a discovery call with you and talk to you more about our processes and make sure it's a fit for you. We don't like to work with people who's not a fit for our coaching programs because it's a bad experience for you. It's a waste of time for us. It's a waste of your money, and that is not good for anybody. So we'll make sure you're a fit first, but if you're curious about it, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you about it. And hopefully that brings you much, much more success in your fitness and nutrition endeavors.